About 2 months ago, I was talking with one of my friends. She was in Egypt at the time, and she was telling me that a book called Awaken the Species was changing her life. So I respect her a lot. So I thought, let me look into it. I had the book. I had read it like 6 or 7 years ago when it came out. It's the fourth book in the Conversations with God series. So I got out the book, and here's what I found. So Neil Donald Walsh, who's having this conversation with God, is saying, we've got all these problems on this planet. And God says, I'm very well aware you've got starvation, you've got lack of, income, you've got huge problems with nature. This is the mess that you're making. But this is the perfect time for you to change. Neil Donald Walsh says, well, I don't know. We haven't been successful so far, and you're asking me to be a communicator to humanity about what they can do. And so like I don't feel that much hope. So God is saying like you have to focus on what you want. Humanity has to focus on what it wants. You can't change for into these new highly evolved beings if you don't know what you want. So Neil Donald Walsh is saying, okay, I agree on that. So, but we're out of options. I mean, what do I do? Where do we turn? Where can we get new high quality information? How can we make these transitions? And God says, why don't you look to other civilizations that have done what it's time for you to do? Neil Donald Walsh says, yes, but where are they? And God says, you're not alone in the universe. I told you before, there are not dozens, there are not hundreds, there are thousands of more advanced civilizations, and that information is now available to you if you avail yourself of it. And Neil Donald Walsh says, really? Are you sure of what you're saying? And God says, yes, it's just plain. Did you really think that you were alone in the universe? So they go on talking, and after maybe 20 pages, God lays it out, the difference between highly evolved societies and where we as earthlings are. So one of the first ones is there's a reverence for all life, which we don't have so much. Secondly, there's not a concept of ownership. Thirdly, there's not a concept of scarcity. Fourthly, there's no circumstances in which a human being would think of taking the life of another human being. The next thing, in the highly evolved society, there's a reverence for metaphysics. Metaphysics is all of the science of energy that we're learning in yoga. And all the ways that humans and all of nature are connected in ways that you can only see with high-powered microscopes, and we just act as if it doesn't even exist. It's not that we don't know some of these things, we just don't act like we know. So God lays these things out. He said there has to be a balance between machines and nature. All these kind of things. And then he says, it's time. It is time. And you have resources available to you to make these changes. I thought, wow, I can relate to that. Could there be a group of people that could commit themselves to delving into, let's just say, 8 or 9 topics that get into the heart of this and do it in such an open way, do it in such an honoring way, do it in such a vulnerable way that they create something that's so special that they'll naturally want to sell it, they'll naturally want to share it with their friends. And that's exactly what God was saying to Neil Donald Walsh. Can you create a circumstance in which people can learn in that way? Because then, if there's 30 people in the course, it becomes 150 people, or it becomes 300 people. And to me, that was worth it. And that's why I wanted to make this book like a kickoff. Well, I wanted to make it a precursor to the course itself. So it's a fantastic book. How can I predict whether or not you'll like it? But that's some of the core of this book. It's called Awaken the Species by Neale Donald Walsch. The course is called The Way Out Is In. The pre-reg deadline is June 25th. I put the link to register or explore about the course in the title of the Facebook post. So thank you.